This is a Bachelor recap from a guy. We pick up right where we left off last week with just everyone pissed off at Carl. Why? Because Carl went to Katie and said, there are a ton of guys here who are not here for the right reasons. And when Katie asked him how he knows that, he was like, I don't. You're just going to have to trust me on this.
I don't know specifics. Like, I don't want to really get into details, like, without having, like, all the details. But, like, I know that there are some people that don't have the best intentions.
Because if there's anyone you can trust, it's a motivational speaker. The only person less trustworthy than a motivational speaker is like a used car salesman, and it's close. So at the rose ceremony, we actually had a Bachelorette first. The big Verge, Mike P, gets his rose. But before he returns to his spot, he tells Katie,
this isn't something that we want to do right now because of what you've gone through. But we feel as a unit, it's our job to protect your heart. And we've come together in solidarity that we think that, unfortunately, what Carl said wasn't the truth. And that's, as a unit, we really feel that's what you need to hear.
Thank you.
we're all here for the right reasons, and we don't stand for anyone who vaguely says that we're here for the wrong reasons. I'll be honest, though, in a day and age of protests and revolts, I never thought I'd see one amongst the guys in the house of the Bachelorette. But we had one against Carl. And it's like, do you realize how annoying of a person you have to be to have an entire house full of dudes agree on one thing? Like, frat houses aren't even that unified. I mean, it was a real I am Spartacus moment.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus.
Except instead of saying I am Spartacus, they were just like, I hate Carl. 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 I hate Carl.
I hate Carl.
I hate Carl. I hate Carl.
I hate
Carl.
Carl.
I hate Carl.
I hate Carl.
So Katie needs a moment because she was like, I was about to give him a rose before all of this.
I did not see that coming. I don't know what I should do because originally I planned to keep Carl tonight.
And Tasha and Caitlin were probably like, really? I mean, look, to each their own, but Katie was like, his speeches were just so motivating to me. But then Katie ends up not giving him a rose, leading to one of the most awkward departures in Bachelorette history.
If you did not receive a rose, I'm so sorry, and please say your goodbyes.
An honor.
Carl's like the kid who didn't get picked in kickball. He's like, okay, clearly I'm not getting picked. I'll just wait here in case they change their mind. And nope. Okay. All right. I'm going to head out. I'm just going to leave. And he doesn't even hug Katie or thank her. Now on to the group date. And of course, Nick Viall is here. I don't know what ABC producer Nick Viall has naked photos of, but it is Bachelor law that we cannot go more than 3 episodes without a Nick Viall cameo. I mean, this dude has been on more episodes of The Bachelor than Chris Harrison. I mean, roses think this dude gets too much airtime on this show. Then again, why would I expect ABC to make a good casting decision? I mean, this comes from the same network that put Michael Bolton and Zooey Deschanel on a show together.
Michael?
Yes.
Can you tell them a little something about our mystery celebrity?
No, I can't.
Also, Iggy Azalea was on last night's episode, and let's just say the guy she ended up with probably not going to up her street cred. Hey, Iggy, tell me who dat? Why would you do that? Do that. So Nick was there to host a roundtable discussion without the table. It's what I like to call deep side discussions, where the mics pick up deep sides before every guy starts to talk. So the truth is, Nick is there to kind of host this group date. And I'll be honest, real talk, this was a real moment in the show. The topics that were covered were extremely tough.
I failed at marriage. And that doesn't just affect me and her, it affects two amazing kids.
I'm talking divorce, failed relationships, alcoholism, and even sexual assault.
I was involved in a situation where there wasn't consent. And that is not something I wish upon anybody.
It was some pretty raw stuff and some extremely real stuff. Sure, this show has gotten deep and real before, but never has it gotten this intentionally deep. And I know after Katie shared about her sexual assault, which she said even her mom didn't even know about, ABC threw up a helpline for anyone who has found themselves in a similar boat. However, for as real as that date was, there did seem to be some fakeness, and it came in the form of a smiling Thomas. In the group discussion, he basically came out and said, yeah, I came on this show for the wrong reasons.
I couldn't sit here and look you in the face and say I was here for the right reasons because I didn't know who you were. And worst case scenario, I'd give it a shot. And yeah, you could build a great platform from it.
Meanwhile, Carl is somewhere like, aha, I told you so.
There's people who I've led on. I went on a date like the week before I left.
So that night at the cocktail party, Katie asked Thomas about it.
Given our very limited time, you mentioned earlier that there's a list of red flags that you're happy to discuss. Now that we're not in this group setting, I'm curious what it is you want to share.
He gave her a non-answer, and
I'm gonna do everything I have to every single day to show you that.
Katie kind of sensed that.
I appreciate that. I will say it feels like you're dodging a question.
And then Thomas sensed that she sensed that. So later, Thomas felt like he had to go back and get more time with Katie to further explain himself. And naturally, the other guys took this in stride and were very understanding. Psych, they weren't. And while Thomas was with Katie the second time, he went full Hail Mary.
Fear and love are two very, very similar things rooted in the same concept. And when I look at you and the things that I feel with you, I feel both of those so strongly at the same time.
Like Doug Flutie against Miami. Just threw up the L word. I've talked about this on these recaps before, but like the L word is a bold move to play at any point in the season, but especially bold to play it in episode 3. This would be like throwing a Hail Mary on 2nd and 10 halfway through the second quarter. But look, desperate times call for desperate measures. And goofy smiles. So when Thomas gets back, that's when the guys go to town on him, starting with Bradley Cooper confronting him.
Talking to Katie again?
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough to see you getting 2 opportunities with it when some of us haven't.
And then Aaron taking him to task, asking do you think your time with Katie is more valuable than mine?
That purpose was to tell her how I feel about her.
That's what I was doing. You're saying your time is worth more than mine?
Yes, I will say yes.
Well, that's disrespectful. Dude, you are something else, man. That's disrespectful.
I'm fine with being something else.
But despite all the drama, the real MVP of this group date was Justin from Baltimore. This guy has single-handedly given us the greatest facial expressions. My man is as good as Bert from Sesame Street when it comes to facial expressions. And it's fitting because he's got the same eyebrows, too. But at the group date, Connor ended up getting the rose, which led to him gripping his meat hooks in the back of Katie's skull again for a hot makeout sesh. And by hot, I mean overly aggressive. Katie's gonna have to wear a helmet next time she gets with Connor. Now, the one-on-one date this week went to Michael, but it was pretty boring. The only thing of note was that Katie flipped a dune buggy, but even that was pretty lame. Like on a scale of 1 to Rachel slamming into the earth, I give it 3 oofs. So let's get back to the juicy stuff. Meanwhile, back at the house, every guy is together just dragging Thomas.
Thomas is obviously not here for the right reasons. The guys are pretty united in what we've seen, what we've heard, and we don't think he should be here anymore.
Feels like we're gonna get another revolt. I always wonder, like, when the whole house is together dogging on one guy, where that one guy usually is. Well, the answer was he was with Hunter talking about the whole thing, and of course smiling. Now, for those who don't know, Hunter is the guy who looks like if Taylor Lautner was an elf. So Thomas is like, I'm in love. I really don't care about the other guys or what they think about me. Honestly, Aaron referenced him as a Stephen King character who could not stop smiling, and I gotta say, he nailed it. So when the whole group comes back together, Minnie Jacob Black asks Thomas point blank, do you want to be the Bachelor?
Was being the Bachelor, was that a prerogative for you?
Okay. I can't be disingenuous to you guys, and I'm not gonna be. Yes, coming into this, one of the thoughts on my mind was potentially being the next Bachelor.
Which the answer to that question for literally every single guy on this show is yes. But you don't just out and out say it. That's like unspoken rule number 1. So the show pretty much just cuts off with everyone pissed off at Thomas, which makes me think that every week the show is just going to end with the entire house just pissed off at a different guy. Who do you think it'll be next week? Maybe Justin?
No.
Hey guys, I'm not fake. I'd like to be the next Bachelor. But I do love Katie too, so it's a win-win for me, right? I know everyone's yelling at me and absolutely hates me, but I'm smiling through it all. Like a Hallmark card, like a piece of wood you'd find in your mom's home decor.